I'll be honest, Healing Fam. I am a writer at heart. I enjoy writing as my number one form of expression and creativity. It has always been very therapeutic for me. I have been a published poet, but that was back in high school. And creative writing, blogging, those are the things that help me feel connected and express myself. And it really connected and resonated with other people. And so when I was developing this form, of course, because, well, one, I didn't have time to write, but I wanted to be informational. I wanted to be a resource. I wanted to also connect with community. So when I was developing this forum, I was thinking about which way to take it. Psychoeducational? Do we talk about health and fitness? Do we vlog? Do we talk about clinical things? What are the boundaries surrounding this, right? And as I was exploring and developing and ruminating on what this would be, because my goal isn't to be a public speaker and present. As you can see, it's not my thing. It's not what I'm passionate about. When I was thinking about all of those aspects, I felt like all of it encompassed who I am as a person, as a clinician, as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter, as a community member, as a coworker, right? All of these experiences really encompassed who I am. It was really hard for me to think one-dimensional about what this could look like, because I think all of those experiences, all of those identities make me who I am and make me the clinician that I am. And it's those experiences that help me connect better with people and have insight into some of those experiences. And so when I wanted to talk about this next topic, I had to be completely transparent. Hello, my healing fam. Welcome to Healing Not Heal, where we will talk about all things mental health and holistic wellness in a very transparent and culturally confident space. So today I wanted to talk about shame, and I've brought it up before in the way that it drives our behaviors, but when I was thinking about the conversation of shame, I had to be completely honest with myself in that shame was preventing me from telling the whole story and the narrative of my health journey, which I think is important as someone who promotes health and fitness, to be completely honest and transparent about the journey so that we're not misleading others. I've talked about shame before because I think it is one thing that prevents vulnerability and connection with people, and I think connection is a primary source of well-being and quality mental health. When I was thinking about this discussion and how I wanted to incorporate the conversation of shame, I wanted to think about what was the one moment that you feel was the most embarrassing moment of your life? And you can keep that, think on that. What was the most embarrassing moment you've had experienced in your life? Sit with that thought. And I thought about mine in a sense of what other people thought my answer would be and what my actual answer would be. And my friends, I have a few friends who know this experience and have witnessed the experience, but some just know of it. The experience that came up for me, because this personally doesn't really hold shame for me, and this is why I wanted to bring it up, because I'm like, what is the most embarrassing moment I had? I fell down the Caesars Palace escalators in the main casino area. If you know how to get to the club that's like on the second floor, that escalator. And it was hundreds of people in the casino gambling. It's about maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. I really don't even know. But the whole story, right? Like, people think about that story. They're like, oh, Candace fell down the escalator. We were going to the club. But the whole story from start to finish is us being lost, right? Not necessarily knowing, like, is this the way we're supposed to go? Is this the direction, right? Is it upstairs? Is it downstairs? We're trying to find the location of the club. So we're going up the escalator. Oh, no, it's not up here. We go down the escalator. But someone said it's upstairs. So we go back up, right? And so while we're playing this game of let's try to figure out where the hell we're going, my friends get to the top of the escalator and I'm at the bottom, and they change their mind. In the midst of it, they change their mind about what direction we're going in. And I'm mid-escalator, right? And so my decision, they're like, no, just come this way. Just come up. Just run. You're already up here. Just come. So I go to turn. And then people start changing their minds, getting like, oh no, maybe you should just go down. And I'm trying, right? I'm like, well, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm like right here, right? So I go to turn to try to go up the escalator because it's maybe like 5 steps. I'm like 5 steps away from the top of the escalator. And I tumble in a skirt, in heels, ass up, And the one thing one of the patrons that was gambling said to me as we walked past was, at least you got some cute underwear on, right? Now, to everyone else who was probably like laughing, I know I'm sure they were laughing, crying, dying, whatever the case. In my mind, I did not care who saw what happened. In my mind, I was in excruciating pain. And what I didn't want people to see was my pain. I didn't want to be a burden. And I wanted to tough it out so I didn't ruin the night, right? And I still have scars to this day where I reflect, because I couldn't move the next day either. I couldn't move my leg the next day, where I should have got stitches. I probably should have went to convenient care or the hospital while I was there, because I literally couldn't move the next day. And the next day was New Year's Eve. And so in my head, I'm thinking, I don't want to ruin the evening. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to show my pain. I wasn't really embarrassed about who saw, to be honest. I was actually annoyed that I felt like people thought it was more funny than about my safety. But outside looking in, if it was me, I probably would have laughed too. So I didn't have any hard feelings about people laughing about it. Security came out and laughed about it. It really wasn't like oh, I'm mad at people for laughing. It was just kind of like, oh shit, that's fucked up. Like I wish y'all actually gave a damn. Because I spent a good chunk of the next day in the hotel room by myself while everybody's on countdown, because I couldn't move, right? And so my shame came from, I'm in pain. And the first thought I had was, why did I listen to them? And why didn't I go with my better judgment? And what did I have to prove, right? Like, those are the types of questions in my head I was more annoyed about following the lead of others instead of like following my intuition, which it brought me to the concept of like, that wasn't my most shameful moment. And when I think about shameful moments, my shameful moments are moments when I listen to other people, and that's throughout my life. And so it brought me to what really feels and looks like shame to me. Because falling, tripping, being accident prone, that doesn't do shame for me. People are so worried about being embarrassed and looking funny. And I'm like, shit happens. That's not shame to me. Shame was not telling my truth in my experience, or not being transparent or authentic about what's happening in my life and in my journey. And so I said, truthfully, what shame have you held on to? And it brought me to my health journey. It brought me to my fitness journey, which a lot of you have been involved in. And I feel like I had to be honest on the shame that I was carrying. And again, the shame is in the vulnerability and the truth behind the story, right? And so in full transparency, I have been a fitness girl since middle school. Even though my weight has fluctuated, I've always been involved in sports. I've always been going to the gym off and on. It's just been inconsistent. Probably the most thing that has changed has been my nutrition and dietary habits, which is why, people see the most progress. But there was a period of time where I got up to maybe 250 pounds. I'm 5'4", and I was married. And at the time, it was probably the most depressed I've ever felt, the loneliest I've ever felt, right? And so I had picked up a lot of weight because I had been drinking, which again is part of the story, is part of the narrative, right? And there's typically shame behind addiction. And I coped with a lot of loneliness with drinking, mostly on the weekends, but a girl might have some wine during the week. And it just became a thing because me and my ex-wife at the time had different work schedules. So we were 2 shifts passing in the night. Communication was not great at all. When we were not aligned, there was a lot of assumptions on my part about what could be the reason. And I internalized all of it, right? I had gained weight. I had met my ex-wife and I was like 175 pounds current weight. So to get to 250, you're thinking in your head, well, we're not having sex anymore. You're not telling me I'm attractive. You're not telling me I'm beautiful, or you're not touching me and things aren't the same. So you start to think, well, it's because I gained weight. Are you not attracted to me anymore, right? Your partner's going out, not wanting to come home, or they're partying, they're drinking more, they're with their friends, they're doing everything but wanting to come home to you. And so you internalize that as like, what am I doing wrong? And that was the shame I was experiencing. Even though I was working out and, trying to eat right, the alcohol, I was coping with the alcohol. And so there was no budge, there was no movement. And that is why I had all that weight gain. So that being said, I felt frustrated and unattractive and unloved. And so not having the self-esteem, not really having the confidence, like I said, doing a lot of drinking, depressed, I chose to get liposuction. And so that I made that decision on my own. I didn't even tell my ex-wife at the time. I had just scheduled an appointment, and when they were like, oh, you need a ride home, I was like, oh shit, guess I gotta, that's my only one support system that I know will take me home. So I did tell her about it, and I'll say she was supportive of like, oh, okay, all right, well, that's what you want to do, right? But there was no real other conversation about that, like, why are you doing that? I hope you're not doing that for me, or what's going on, or any of that. It was just like, okay, just, cool. And so I did do the surgery, and it was January 2020, and then COVID popped out February, March 2020, and the world shut down. And so there was no follow-up care. There was no follow-up treatment. There was no follow-up massages. I was pretty much on my own. I went home, wrapped up right. It was the water lipo, so I was awake the entire time. They took about 9 pounds around from my waistline. And it was the most painful experience I ever had in recovery-wise. And again, it was something that I did on my own because my ex-wife at the time, went to work. And so getting up and going to the bathroom and like changing things and all of that stuff, I did completely on my own. And even then, I think that's when it clicked, because when I was experiencing that and I was just having a meltdown, I was just like, wow, like, no, like she still didn't notice, right? Like that's what I was feeling, and that's what was coming up for me of, again, you did something thinking that you would appease someone else or get someone to notice, and it just wasn't. And I had convinced myself at the time that I was doing it for me, and I can make this decision on my own, and I have no regrets about it at all, to be honest with you. My only regret is I didn't have proper follow-up care. I do have regret on it didn't make a difference. It didn't really help me at all. I will say maybe I have a better silhouette, but when I tell you I was still rocking that 245, 250, heavy, thick in the thighs, thick in the back end, I looked completely the same. I was the same exact girl with the same cardio issues, with the same insecurities, with the same drinking problems, with the same depression. And now I'm sitting here with these scars, with the shame of these scars, because I don't want to explain them to anybody else. And so that being said, moving on in my life, in my fitness journey, I ended up getting a personal trainer less than a year later. And that actually kicked off my health journey. And what's interesting enough about that health journey is that the person that I was starting to see then was the one who found that personal trainer and really was encouraging about the process. But again, even that felt like pressure, because that person found that trainer, paid for that trainer, and was like being a nice cheerleader, but it didn't feel like a journey of my own in that it was for me. It didn't start with me. It wasn't because I loved myself. It was because, again, trying to find worthiness, trying to find acceptance, and trying to find that missing piece of, am I attractive enough? Am I lovable? And I say that to fast forward to this part of my life where really I recognize, because of the consistency, I can say why I started, and it's important to the story. I can say why I started my health and fitness journey isn't why I'm doing it now. And I can appreciate that evolving, but I needed that experience to get here, to actually enjoy it and value the therapeutic and mental benefits of it, that I actually enjoy working out now, and that I actually enjoy my body, and I like seeing the transition and the changes. And it's the most progress I've made in these last 2 years with no other assistance other than working out and nutrition, right? And now I'm at 171 today. I weighed in. And so, and I'm posting pictures. I'm going to have pictures all throughout so you can see that lipo is part of my story, but lipo wasn't what transitioned or changed my journey for me. It kicked off and exposed how much I didn't really love myself. And I'm not anti plastic surgery or body modifications. I'm actually pro it, and I'm gonna get my boobs done eventually. But I say that to say my reasoning behind it was not for me. It was not for my own personal value or benefit. It was because of those other reasons of wanting to feel accepted and loved by someone else. And I still felt unfulfilled. And my regret in that process was not getting the aftercare. And so the shame of the story really came from the aspect of a failed marriage, right? Of all the things that I felt like I was doing to maintain the marriage. And that is the part that I hold shame about, that it's hard to talk about the health and fitness journey and talk about the weight loss journey in a very authentic and transparent way without saying, well, I did have lipo too because I was depressed and alcoholic and I was struggling. Part of that struggle includes being sexually assaulted the year prior, which impacted my marriage, my mental health, my body dysmorphia. Another part of the story for another part of the day. And the shame came from, I can't be a good health and fitness coach and advocate if I'm not honest. I can't be a good clinician and therapist if I can't recognize feelings of shame and embarrassment. I can't be a good friend or community member if I can't step into my vulnerability and even show compassion and empathy for myself. Because if I don't have it for myself, then I don't have it for other people. I say that to say it's hard not to blend the lines at time in a culturally competent way of saying, yes, this is my story and it's personal, but it also guides me. It also guides my decision making in a sense of I can see your story, I can empathize with your story and have grace for your story, but I know that I can encourage you because I've seen the other way through, right? I'm still walking through those journeys, I'm still walking through those struggles, but I know when I hear yours, I can have compassion for it, and I can encourage you to let you know that I am no different than you. I am no better than you. And if I can walk to another side to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I pray that you can too, and I encourage that you can too. And so my transparency comes with love. It doesn't come with, oh, look at me, I'm trying to get attention, feel sorry for me, woe is me, or none of that. It's truly, I understand and I get it. And that shame of your story and not really wanting people to know the deep down core motivations for some of your behaviors. We're human. It's part of the journey. What wife hasn't felt insecure? What wife hasn't felt body image issues? What wife hasn't felt lonely at times, right? I'm sure that's not everybody's experience, but I'm sure there's plenty of wives that would agree that they've had those same experiences. So why sit in that shame alone? Why sit here and beat up on myself and keep that like shh? Well, no, it's part of the story. It really is. And so when we talk about shame, that is what creates the disconnect. Had I not shared that and people came down the line and, oh, you work out, you do this, da, da, da. Now I look dishonest because I wasn't vulnerable enough when that's my truth to tell, right? It's really nobody's business. But I'm strong enough in myself to know that that is part of my story. That is part of my truth. Right? And people can hate me for it, or people can criticize and be like, oh, see, you cheated or you did X, Y, and Z. It is what it is, but I'm here now and I feel great about myself. I feel great about my body. I'm so proud of the progress I have made and like naturally. And so even cutting down on alcohol, I am not completely sober, but even cutting down on alcohol, that has been part of the journey, and that has been evidence, right? I recognize this sedentary lifestyle is not normal. Getting outside, getting a fresh air, going to the gym, meeting people, going and doing physical activities with your friends, like those are the joy in the moment of being physically active that I can enjoy now. Because I remember being overweight. I was the friend that struggled to do a lot of those things. And so now I feel like because I have paid attention more to my health and fitness, I am creating more connection through my health and fitness. And I am developing community and conversations around my health journey. And that is where I feel like I have to be honest in I love this journey. I love the aspect of this journey because it does bring connection. It does bring community. And I just had to be honest about the complete story. There is no shame about how you get where you need to be as long as you get there. The shame in your journey only has as much power as it gives it. When I started the story about the Caesar's Palace incident, I didn't give a damn about it. I still don't. My friends still laugh about it, and I get more annoyed, like I said, like, bitch, I was in pain. Fuck that. Fuck them people. I looked cute. My underwear was cute. My ass was out. Cool. I don't care. I don't remember those people. Those people probably don't remember me. I'm probably a conversation at dinner, and had TMZ or Shade Room been out, I probably would have made it. But I don't give a damn. I don't live in that time. I was more worried about, and when I think about that, why did I listen to other people? Why did I care what people thought about me? Why did I care about other people's decisions influencing me? That included my ex-wife. It was doing things for other people. And so when you see me even now get on a platform, I'm not wearing makeup, I'm not wearing lashes, lips even dry, I don't give a fuck. What I'm saying is, in this part of my journey, in this place in my life, this is the most authentic that I have felt because I come from a place of I really don't care how I'm perceived. Now, there's aspects of I want to be respectful. I want to be thoughtful. I want to be fair. I want to be open-minded and non-judgmental as much as possible because I'm a little judgy. But other than that, I know myself to my core enough that I know I'm a good person, regardless of my mistakes. And I can't control the narrative. I can't control how I'm perceived. That day I fell down the stairs, I wasn't even drunk. I wasn't even that drunk. But the people was probably like, oh, her wasted ass fell down them stairs. Wasn't even the case, right? And so I can't control the narrative. I have learned that so much that I get to control the narrative of me. I get to control the scene. This is my experience. And so releasing that shame into stepping into who you are and having confidence in that, having conviction in that, shame loses its power. I know my story. I know what I experienced. I know what I went through. And would I do it all again? Absolutely. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely. But would I do it all again? Absolutely. Because it has shaped my experience and honestly, like I said, has made me a better clinician. It has made me connect better as a friend because I am more true to myself now. And that can be a lonely feeling for a lot of people. When you feel like when you make decisions for yourself that make other people unhappy or offended, it can get lonely. But I'd rather carry that loneliness of knowing who I am than that shame of doing things for the likes of others, for doing things to be accepted and loved by others, for taking the lead from others that also have no direction. Whatever that shame is, I told you earlier, think about your most embarrassing moment. Think about that piece of shame that you're holding on to. And is it because you're concerned about being perceived by other people? And think deeply about the experience. Why are you holding shame around it? What is the shame around that story? Why are you giving it so much power? You know, a friend had posted something saying along the lines of confidence is a learned skill. And I completely agree, 100%. Confidence is learned. And I also think it's fluid because my confidence then, because even then I could say I probably thought I was a bad bitch then. I promise I did. But I still had insecurities. I am at a different level of confidence and I still have insecurities. And I know that I'm still going to develop even more confidence and I'm still going to have insecurities. And I think once you recognize that yes, you can have a level of confidence. Yes, you're going to have insecurities. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. But be confident that you are walking this journey to learn. And you developing that confidence is you being secure enough to know that I'm okay to make mistakes on this journey, to have self-compassion. Confidence is in the self-compassion. So, Healing Fam, as we are all students on this journey, please give yourself grace and compassion. No one on this earth is perfect. Release the narrative that is keeping you in that shame and embrace your vulnerability, because you don't know who that would connect with, who would embrace you, who has open arms. Yes, people are going to be judgmental, but understanding that too is people's core problems with themselves. It's them projecting their own insecurities onto you, and that's not for you to hold. Know your own truth, know your own story, because when you do, no one else can tell you who you are. So I hope that was helpful, Healing Fam. I hope you can appreciate my honesty. If you don't like me no more, I don't give a fuck, but I love you anyway. But that's my truth. And I'm sorry that it took me this long to tell it. But I'm here for the health and fitness. I'm here for the complete journey, the mental, the spiritual, the physical. It all encompasses who you are as a person. It is all a part of your journey, and I am here for it. I'm here to support you and encourage you in it. And so if you want to like, share, subscribe, comment, let your people know, I am here as a resource, as a guide, as a community member, as a therapist, as a friend. I am just here. And I'm glad you're here with me. So again, thank you, Healing Fam.